My name is Nidhi, and welcome to our session of Redefining Career Goals. Saskatchewan, as we know, for centuries has been prized as the breadbasket of the Commonwealth and consequently attracts a significant number of agrologists from all across the world each year. Many a time, like any other industry, newcomers face barriers in integrating to the existing workforce and within the job market. And these barriers are not only less understood, but often go unseen. We at Truly Alive are extremely passionate towards the cause, and with the like mindedness of our partner, Career Loans, we are proud to collaborate on redefining career goals. Today, we shall be talking about strategies for navigating careers in agriculture and allied industry during uncertain times of COVID 19. And with us, we have two very wonderful guests, Dr. Tajender Gariwal and Ms. Claudia Valenzuela. I feel very honored to introduce Dr. Gariwal and Ms. Claudia. Mr. Tajender Gariwal is the Chief Scientist and Head of the Genomics Lab at SGS Canada. He has a PhD in agriculture. He was formerly a research officer at the University of Saskatchewan. Dr. Tajender is a member of many national and international professional organizations. He's also a member of GMO Committee of International Seed Testing Association since 2010. He's the NDP provincial candidate for Saskatoon Silver Spring Sutherland. Thank you, Dr. Tajender. And our second guest is Ms. Claudia Valenzuela. She's the Virtual Information and Financial Counselor for the Career Loans Program, coordinated by the Center for Education and Training. As the IFC, she provides individual career and financial counseling advice to internationally trained professionals who reside in Saskatchewan and who aim to continue their careers in Canada. With more than 17 years of career coaching experience, Claudia has had the privilege of meeting and helping countless professionals. I would like to extend our gratitude to Dr. Tajender Gariwal and Ms. Claudia Valenzuela for taking out their valuable time to help our participants navigate in their industry. Without further ado, we shall begin the conversation, and we can divide our conversation time between Dr. Tajender and Claudia. You're most welcome to ask questions, and I'll be equally delighted to read your questions from the chat box. Anyways, we have received a number of questions, and I would begin now with the very first question from Dr. Tajender. Dr. Tajender, I believe it's not only me who's curious to know about your amazing journey. I have got a number of requests, and we would be very pleased if you could share with us your journey.
Hello, everyone. First of all, let me see if everyone can hear me properly. You can all hear me?
We can hear you.
Okay. So first of all, I will thank Nidhi and Taffy for giving me this opportunity for talking to you. My name is, like I Nidhi said, like we want to say something about my journey, then you can ask the questions. My name is Tajender Gariwal, as Nidhi said. So I'm born and raised in Punjab, India. I did my BSc in agriculture, then master's and PhD in plant pathology. I was a professor back home for 6 years. I was working on wheat diseases, breeding for disease resistance, and we are identifying the sources among the wild wheats resistant to disease, and then transferring those resistance to the cultivated wheats. So in 1999, more than 20 years ago, we came to Canada. So we all come to Canada with lots of dreams. So these dreams could be financially better, or better standard of living, or better life for our kids, or a combination of many of these. So we came here with lots of dreams. So we came, I told you that my family and we came in 1999 under skilled worker category. And we came to Vancouver. So more than 20 years ago, I still know that I was sitting in a training class where they were teaching us about how to make resume, how to make cover letters, how to find a job in Canada. Fortunately, my wife, she knew a professor at the University of British Columbia. So she got an appointment with him, And then we went to meet him, and we spent almost 2 hours with him. I think to date, he changed our life. He looked at my resume, and he gave me many suggestions to modify it. And the one thing he said, that based on your qualifications, there is no job in BC. You need to look in prairies. I came home, I modified my resume based on his suggestions, then start applying to all the agriculture institutes in Saskatchewan, Manitoba, and Alberta. And I'm very fortunate that within a month or so, I got a position in the Department of Plant Sciences, University of Saskatchewan. So I worked there almost 10 years in the barley and oat breeding program, where our mandate was to develop disease-resistant varieties in barley and oats. So we are doing genetics of resistance, and we are also developing DNA markers, and we're using these DNA markers to develop disease-resistant varieties in barley and oats. So in 2009, I got a position as a scientist in the Saskatchewan Research Council. There, our mandate was to develop a system, a DNA system to identify wheat varieties. So for 2009, in Canada, the wheat varieties was identified using cardinal characters. We call them KVD, cardinal visual distinguishable. In 2009, Government of Canada removed that system. So the industry was looking for a system to identify different wheat varieties using DNA markers. So we got almost $4.2 million from the Government of Canada, Government of Saskatchewan, and many private industries to develop that system. So I was there for 4.5 years, and we also worked on GMOs there. And then in end of 2012, somehow our whole biotechnology unit in the Saskatchewan Research Council was closed. There are 40 people and 30 of us laid off. And luckily, when I was working on wheat, I asked for a funding, sent a proposal for a funding to do the similar thing in barley to identify DNA markers to identify the barley varieties. The SRC closure program, I talked to someone at the university, they said, bring the project and do it here. So then I went to University of Saskatchewan back, then I started working on identification of barley varieties using DNA markers. In 2016, I was hired in this company called SGS. SGS is a multinational company trading in 140 countries, having more than 90,000 employees. They have the GMO testing labs in all over the world, but they're having no GMO testing lab in Canada. They hired me to start a GMO testing lab here in Canada, here in Saskatoon. So when I was hired, they showed me 2 rooms, 2 empty rooms, that this is your lab. So I start from nothing in 2016, start in September. There's a big job to start a new lab and getting all sort of international certifications because we are a commercial testing lab. So we start commercial testing of GMO stuff in 2017. And then I developed a new lab, brand new lab. Now our lab is moved from those 2 rooms to a brand new lab, 7 rooms, 4,000 square feet. And this year, our revenue will be close to $1 million.
Wow.
And in addition to, because I'm doing GMO testing, I developed the system for DNA markers for wheat varieties and barley varieties. So we are, in addition to GMO testing, we are doing their wheat varieties identification, barley variety identification, and we're doing all sorts of GMO stuff, all kind of crops, feed and food. So you can say my experience in agriculture is diverse. I worked in academia, I worked for the government, and now almost 4 years I'm working in industry, private industry. So in addition to my career, need to know that I'm doing hundreds of other stuff. So that's interesting. I will not spend much time on that because that's too much, right? So that's I tell people that I'm more busy during the weekend than the weekdays because I'm participating in so many sports, community, cultural, and political organizations. So I'm a candidate for Saskatchewan NDP in the upcoming election that's happening in October 2020. So that's my passion. So I think I will not say much about more, and then I will start the discussion about our topic if you have any questions. Thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Tejender. Yes, do we have any questions from your side?
To me, you asking me?
No, I'm asking the attendees if they have any questions from Dr. Tejender.
No, not yet.
Okay. Okay, then I'm coming to the questions that I've been receiving through emails. There were a lot of people who wanted to attend maybe because of the work. They couldn't make it at this point of time, but they have definitely sent me a lot of questions. Dr. Tejender, this is a question from lady Bhagya who works with Agriculture Canada. She says, I'm quoting her words, she says, I've been to the Indian University and graduated with best results. I had work experience too from my field, but when my family migrated to Canada and applied for a job, many employers would ask me, this is all good, but why don't you get education from Canada? And I had to repeat my exact same degree here in Canada to be able to apply for a job after 10 years. I was able to find a job in my field later. My question to you, I'm in Bhakya, she's asking a question now, I'm reading her question. Is there a possibility the government will establish a Canadian validating exam for skilled immigrants, which has two exams? One for Canadian general knowledge and the other in the respective field for immigrants. Is there any possibility we can look forward to that we can have a validating exam in the coming times, similar to that of people who come into the science industry, let's say MBBS or, yeah.
There is no such thing in agriculture so far. It could happen in the future. The first thing, the question she asked that, why don't you have education from Canada? I don't have any education from Canada in agriculture. And I got a position. Similarly, my wife, she doesn't have any education from Canada in agriculture, and she's a scientist in agriculture and agri-food Canada. So, I mean, this is not a requirement. You can get your degree evaluated. There is a institute called IQAS, that's called International Qualification Assessment Service. They are in Bagreville, Alberta. It's a small town when we go from Saskatchewan to Edmonton or from Lloyd. You send your degrees to them. It's a federal institute. You send your degrees to them. They will assess your degrees in comparison to Canadian degrees. Then they certify you that your degree is equivalent to bachelor degree or master's degree or PhD degree. I got my evaluated all my degrees, and they're all equivalent to Canadian degrees. So, I mean, what I'm trying to say that you don't need, it's better to have an education in Canada, but this is not a requirement.
So it's not a limiting factor. It should not be seen as a barrier for the people who land here.
The one thing, like every employer, like I heard this so many times, they ask one question, very common question: do you have any Canadian experience? Until and unless you have a job here, you will not have any experience. And this is very tough. That's why for any new immigrant, the first job is extremely, extremely tough. The entry level position is very, very tough. But if you have education from here in Canada, it doesn't guarantee you to have a job. Like I know many people having master's and doctorate degrees in the University of Saskatchewan, and either they are not getting any job or they are underemployed. I mean, the degree in Canada doesn't guarantee you to have a job. So still you will be doing all kinds of efforts to find a job.
Wonderful. So that's a good takeaway for our participants. Let's not consider this as a limiting factor. I believe these are the limiting self-beliefs that we need to overcome and go out and grab the opportunities. Yeah. Okay. My second question
Can I
to
add
you.
something? Sorry, can I add something, Nidhi?
Definitely.
I,
Definitely.
I would say, along with what Tajinder mentioned, I'm glad that you're sharing your story. And yeah, it's not easy, the transition. I'm also an international trained professional for many, many, many years. I've been in Canada, and I went through similar experience. And I could say that be very aware of who you are, what is it that you have to offer, and think about alternative options out there and explore those options. And if you're very, very passionate to science, for instance, find a way. It's not going to be a straightforward way to the area that you want right away, but somehow related. And then little by little, you will find a way. That's my advice. And I guess the certifications and licensings that could come along the way in your career, look for things that are gonna have long expectancy, like when the forecast, your profession has to be out there, require professionals with your background in Saskatchewan, they need those skills. But if you're doing something that is not required or needed in Saskatchewan, so then you have to find out what province offers that, or how I should reinvent myself so I can use what I have the expertise on and move forward.
Definitely, this is the time to recalibrate ourselves with the work, with home, with everything. Yeah. Okay. My next question, again coming from one of the participants, is to you, sir, Dr. Tajender. What are the advices to newcomers which you wish you knew for yourself?
The first thing I admit that we are now going through a very challenging time, very difficult time. Nobody thought about that. Nobody planned for it. So this is a very, very challenging time. So there are many people, like I'm going to work there in the industry, and I would say in the private industry, majority of people are working. But if you see Agriculture Canada, University of Saskatchewan, nobody's working, they're all closed. And many other works are closed. So many employees who are already there, they are sitting at home doing almost nothing. So this is a very unprecedented time. So for newcomers, it will be very tough, because the first and foremost task for the government is to get the people back to work. So there's a time, I don't know, it will take a few weeks or a few months, but finding a new job at this time, I'm sorry to say, very tough, very difficult.
Yeah.
I mean, if you ask me for advice from me, sorry, I don't have any.
I could add something to that as well, Tajinder, on my aspect as career advisor. I would say, and also my personal experience, life happens to all of us, and look where we are right now, right? Just meeting each other virtually, and who knows until when. But we have to take what we have at the moment, and again reinvent ourselves and start thinking, you know, there are new businesses happening online. Okay, so how else I can equip myself in technology personally that I could move forward as career advisor and provide a better service, right? Because the same thing goes with the competition, but it's using those transferable skills. And if I was in the retail service, how I can transfer my communication skills, my management skills, my leadership skills into a new category or area. And that comes with the career exploration and assessing who you are and what is it that you are good at, what is it that you are passionate about, and what options are out there at the moment. If I live in Saskatoon or if I live in Regina, what is out there that start growing, and see how I can get involved. That would be, again, my advice too, yeah, because at this moment it's like for all of us a big question mark, where I'm gonna go from here, right? Nobody knows. But it's up to us to take that action and move forward, nobody else, right?
And a lot of people are getting the economic benefits launched by the federal government. And I'm sure these are acting as a disincentive for a lot of people entering into the market. So some of us could turn lucky applying for jobs and grab some places for people who do not wish to work at this point of time. So maybe keep trying until then. Okay, so my next question to you is, no longer does entering into agriculture industry mean becoming a farmer. What is the scope of agricultural degree graduated immigrants, according to you, sir?
So the one thing this pandemic showed us that food is the most important thing. People survive without buying clothes, buying jewelry, without buying cosmetics or many other things, but you're still eating food 3 times a day, no matter what, it's pandemic or not. So food, people realize now that food or agriculture is extremely important.
Yeah.
So it means that any kind of agriculture related skills are important. And you will see the growth in the industry in the future, as Claude said, that there will be many changes. The changes are already happening. So let me admit one thing, that I'm not a human resources specialist. I'm not an expert in human resources, and I'm not expert in job finding. I'm sharing my experience in the industry. I'm sharing my whatever I know in the research side, development side, or in the industry. So like I can give you our example. At work, we are more busy now than 2 months before. Because the food testing is extremely busy. So that you can say same thing for agriculture. So agriculture will be there. Agriculture will be more prominent in the future. Let me hold on.
And it's applicable in so many industries, right? Because you think only agriculture, but it's also environmental issues, oil and gas, animal services, like you name it, right? You can apply your skill set.
It's not only producing the agriculture, it's a food chain. For example, what are we doing? We're testing the food. So we are part of the food chain. So it's from the field to fork. There's so many things involved, like all the grocery stores, all the packaging, everything is involved. It's not only when you're producing, like in Saskatchewan, we're producing lots of crops. That's only one part, or maybe not, it's just maybe say less than 10% of the part. So whatever you produce, then it goes to all the recollections. One thing you need to understand in Canada, everything we produce here, 80 to 90% is exported. So it goes to all over the world. So we are exporting province, we are exporting nation. So it's not only one thing. We are involved in so many things here from start to finish.
But I can see that this kind of frictional employment, I would say, the job market does not match the industry, or the number of people who are willing to work do not match the opportunities that the province creates. So I think that's not a good scene. But we are moving on to our next question. So are there any programs in pipeline intended to provide a pathway to newcomers and permanent residents who have recently migrated?
I don't have any experience on that side because I'm not involved in that part. I mean, people from the Open Door Society or people like you from Taffy and other institutes who are working with the new immigrants, who are working with employers, they can answer better this question. So like I don't know much about this question you asked.
Okay, we are ready to do our homework on this, and we'll get back on this with more information.
So sorry, Nidhi, what is the type of industries that this question is referring? Any type of industry, programs for newcomers in general?
No, especially for the agrologist or the people coming from the allied industry. Yeah. If there's anything coming in the pipeline, any progress coming up.
Like bridging programs, for instance, that exist in Alberta or dependent, but for other types of professions, right?
Not exactly the bridging programs, but some kind of bigger policies, amendments in the from the government,
I think
coming at the
your question
provincial and the federal level. That is what I'm looking forward to. Something in a big way. Yeah.
Okay.
so I think your question maybe is that how you connect employer with the new immigrants. The new immigrants come, the employer looking for people or skilled people, and how to link these two. There's some sort of bridging between the employers looking for the skilled workers and their skilled workers already there or new skilled workers. There should be link somebody in the middle who can
Yeah,
link.
we definitely have been doing that. We have been getting ex-bosses on our platform. As you have been coming to our office a couple of times, trying to connect with the newcomers, giving them more ways, letting them know more about the barriers and how to overcome them. With more people who have experience and number of years spent in a particular industry, especially in Canada, they are our guiding force. And we are looking up to them to bridge this gap at the micro level, but at the macro level, definitely we are looking something in a bigger way that government creates number of more opportunities in thousands and at least tries to match the workforce with the work industry. That is what we are looking for, something in pipeline in a big way. Otherwise, we are very thankful to all the community members who have always been supporting our endeavors, small and big endeavors, and that is actually making a huge difference in the lives of newcomers. Thank you. And now I'm proceeding for next question. If any of my friends wish to ask any question that comes to their mind, please, you are most welcome to, else I'm taking up a question. Okay, I'm going further. So are there any tools to research? What are the top skills companies are looking for? Or you can guide us about what are the top skills that the companies are looking for and how should we prepare ourselves as prospective employees?
The one thing I can add, Nidhi, that in agriculture industry, this is our season, this is our crop season, like from May to September. So every year, agriculture industry is depending upon the temporary workers. So temporary workers coming over for this particular season, then they go back. And due to this pandemic, it's very hard for the industry to get the temporary foreign workers.
Yeah.
So this could be an opportunity for the people who are already here, for the new immigrants. I heard that in BC, they're struggling for the harvest. Harvest is already starting or going to start in a week or two, something like that, and they're struggling. They don't have temporary workers. So, I mean, these people who are new, who have some experience in the agriculture industry, they can have some experience there. Even this is not their right job or the right skills, but they can have some Canadian experience and they can see how the agriculture works in Canada. They will experience, they will earn some money, then they will know better about the agriculture industry than before. So this is one opportunity for new immigrants here right now.
And also it can help them build up their network.
True, like once you are there, then you can see where the further, like once you do certain work, that's said in the beginning, the entry to the industry is very difficult. Once you enter, then you know lots a lot. Like me, like it was hard for me to enter. Once I entered, then I can see around what's happening. Like, not doing your own work, just you seeing around what people are doing around you, how the whole system works. Then you can either you may already have skill, or as Claudia said, you can acquire new skill. I mean, this is an opportunity for the new immigrants right now in Canada to help the industry.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you, sir. I'm coming over to the next question. How we can now be more connected with agriculture channels at Saskatoon with less personal contacts? Are there any associations that we should subscribe for to participate?
I don't know much about any association doing any particular work at this time. So I'm part of the Saskatchewan Institute of Agrarists. Like I don't see they are doing anything special this time. I mean, if you ask me, my short answer will be I don't know any channel there who could be serving at this time.
Thank you, sir. Thank you. Next question. Sir, what do you think will be the most impactful changes in food production chain and or agriculture practices after COVID-19 crisis, and how we could be more prepared for these new challenges?
The production will not change much, like our system, how we produce the food, it will not change much. The only thing will change how we market that produce, or how we, I said in the beginning that in Canada, 80 to 90% of what we produce, we export it. And we, like last 3 years, canola was the #1 crop. This year it's not. The reason that we have some issues marketing canola to China. So in the future, we will have issues marketing our products to different countries. And that will decide what we are growing here in Saskatchewan or what we're growing in Canada. That will impact us heavily in the future, that because everything we grow here, we export it. So the farmer, the producer will see what we can export and what we cannot. But our system will not change. We have very good system here in agriculture. It's not going to change. Only the decisions, what needs to be grown, what not to be grown, they will be changing depending on what we can market, where we can market.
Thank you. According to your knowledge, how can we show more of our skills in this scenario and be prepared for a job interview? Do you consider some skills more important than others now?
These computer skills, what we are doing right now.
Definitely.
But I was struggling how to do this even talk, like how to use the technology. If you are very familiar with the computer technology or IT or anything information technology, you will be ahead than the people who doesn't know that. I mean, the technology is extremely important. It will be becoming more and more important. So in future, like, it depends on your job. As I think there is a question that people are working from home or not. So it depends on your job. Like at our work, last month, our 80% of our admin staff working from home. Like we are the lab people. We have to go there because we have to get the sample. We have to do the DNA extraction, the PCRs and the results. We can't work from home. But there are many people, they can work from home. The admin people. I know our vice president, he was located here, but I was only seeing him 4 or 5 days in a month here in Saskatchewan. Now he's here all the time. So he's not traveling. So he's just using the phone and the computer or Zoom or whatever, right? The technology will be changing, and the technology will be way more, we are doing less travel. And we're doing way more this Zoom meeting what we're doing right now.
Yeah, and it has been a blessing at this point of time, technology and the virtual sessions. Thank you so much, Dr. Tejender. I think I've asked all set of questions that I've received, but wish we could have more time. And hopefully over the time, we can have a personal meeting where we can have a cup of tea and some snacks to ourselves. Thank you so much. And I thank you on behalf of Taffy and Career Loans. Thank you so much once again. And now we are shifting our conversation, and let's have a dialogue with our dearest Claudia. Thank you, Claudia, for joining us once again. So what can we learn from you? How can career loans be helpful for the immigrants who have been here, especially from this industry, as we're talking about?
Yeah. So the career advice that we provide, and is all applicable to all sort of industries, right? But of course, it helps tremendously to hear from an expert like Tajinder. Absolutely, this is the right path. So you need to go to the source of information, people that are doing the job on the field, hear from them, learn from them, ask questions, inform yourself, research, and you have to take the drive seat and take command of your career. I can't stress enough, because otherwise nobody else will do it for you. But definitely people that are experts, first of all, and career loans comes in place as providing the advice and helping you set up that roadmap, because many times, 90% of times, people are lost and where should I go, what to do, especially now, right? That is, everybody's saying like, what is next for me? I used to go to work every day, and now I don't even know what's going to happen with my job. My hours have been reduced, right? Like I would say 60–70% of employees right now are in that situation. So what is going to be next? Reinvent yourself. And I always put my clients in the mode of thinking, what is more important, the goose or the 3 golden eggs, right? And the goose is you. And the golden eggs are those added things that you have when you want to have a good job and live in a nice neighborhood and have some discretionary income to go on vacation and all these great things. But what about you? You are the first one to take charge of yourself and learn and decide, well, if technology is something now that definitely we hear from Tajinder as well, and I totally agree. So what is next for me at my level, in my industry, that I need to take a step and move on and take that certification or take that program that would be useful for me. I just can give you an example with one of my boys that right now is all online. So he's in marketing, digital marketing, and he's doing all sort of certifications right now, like the Agile, Google Ads, all that to help them move up the ladder. So then he can compete once everything is okay. So those are the proactive steps that I think everybody have to take right now. So career loans comes with the career advice and providing you with the guidance. And then at the same time, as an added value, if you are interested in having your credentials assessed, if you're interested or you don't have the money for paying for your exams because you're a dentist and you're in level 2 of your exams and you don't have the means. So that's how career loans can give you that little push. So in that sense, I think the government is trying really hard. I've been here many years, as I mentioned, but in my time, there wasn't a thing for helping newcomers, and now there are tons of programs and things that are happening, not at once, and many times so you feel like, okay, what is it? Where are the services that I don't see them? But they are, but you just need to tap into those resources fast. I always give the advice to clients in looking for job postings. Job postings are the best place for you to have an idea what employers at this moment are looking for, right? I notice more and more that, oh, we're flexible in you working remotely or not. Before, you wouldn't see that, but now employers are adjusting to these changes. But at the same time, you have to have the tools and you need to know how to market yourself through social media and all that. So it's up to you to take those training and courses, right? And if you need money for your equipment, if you're a dentist again and you need instrumentation, if you need to complete a certification, if you need an alternative career. I have examples of different clients. I have one that is lawyer, and right now she said, realistically, Claudia, I can't do my law degree here again, all over again, because she has over 10 years. So she's going to take a certification as a privacy professional. It's a shorter term, it's less than a year, He will get the certification, and there are positions available right now in Saskatoon for that role. So because she has done all the research, so that's how career loans will guide an individual to reach that stage. At the same time, we work very closely with service providers like Taifi, with NIDI, very closely in providing the best service possible to clients, because not everyone will be ready for a certification. Not everyone will want career counseling advice, or some of them will need both things. So that's why all these services are available, but you need to knock the doors, you need to do your research, use the information that we provide you, because we send you a lot of good tools that we have experience on, but you need to sit and do your homework, because otherwise it's not going to happen overnight, right? So yeah, that would be my advice.
Claudia, how easy is it to get a loan from career loans? And are there any conditions that one has to go through?
Yeah, thank you for that question. So of course, this program is funded by the government of Canada, by the government of Saskatchewan, and by the government of Alberta, right? Because they saw the need. They need the people. They need people to work in agriculture. They desperately need people on trades. They need truck drivers, right? So that's why they put in that incentive for people to take that training and move ahead. So to take a loan, for instance, I will give you again the example of this person that I just spoke about becoming a lawyer. So you go through an application process that is very easy online. It's virtual, right? Our services are virtual. So anywhere in Saskatchewan or Alberta, and also we have in Ontario, but I am in charge of the Saskatchewan province, right? And my role also is continuously to connect with service providers in Saskatchewan to see what sort of things are happening. We are very closely connected with the government of Saskatchewan as well, and see what sort of new and innovative things are happening, policies that everybody is interested. We are interested as well, because it affects our clients or will help our clients. So we need to keep our eyes open. But at my end, I have to make sure that I do my research as well and I know what's going on. And you need to apply online. It takes you 2 seconds to complete the application. Then you will receive a login information and a password. And then from there, I will give you a call. And we are going to go through a career advice session where I will ask, okay, what is it that you're doing right now? What is your desired occupation? What are the barriers that you're facing? What sort of things you need? So then I assess at that point what could be the best choices for clients. And not necessarily always will be alone. Not necessarily will be like only the career advice, but if I see very strongly that the client will benefit from a particular program, I would suggest, but at the end, there's the person who takes the ownership in deciding. It's very easy because we have a close partnership with HSBC, who is the financial partner that we work closely with. So once I assess the client, I help my client to prepare a package and I provide a letter of recommendation based on the background and the opportunities. And I make my clients work on the research and labor market information so they do understand, yes, this course is gonna take me in the right path. And yes, there are opportunities available in Saskatoon, Regina, or any other places where you live nearby, where they will need people with those skill sets. So then the client knows 100%, yes, I am in the right path. And I also support that. But if I don't believe it, and sometimes the client says, no, never mind, I'll do it. Okay, I can do more than that. But at the same time, I say, well, if you feel very strongly about that, maybe you had experience in your country in a different area that is not necessarily engineer. I had a client that is IT background, but now he wants to become an immigrant consultant. And why? Because he used to work in IT with immigrant consultants in his country, right? So now he wants to go that path. So yeah, he's in that process. So the loans are the prime plus 2%, and it's a low interest. Right now it's 4.45. and it's a locked interest, which is advantageous because doesn't matter for how long, you have up to 4 years to pay your debt, and the minimum is 1,500. So you can ask for evaluation and credential assessment for minimum of 1,500 and up to a maximum of 15,000. Okay, so anywhere in between, whatever you need. Some people say, no, I just need 2,000, Claudia, for now, and then once I pay that, I would like to reapply, and you can do that as well. So there are many situations, but that's how the government is supporting, and the career advice, I'll be behind scenes all the time. If it takes 4 years for you to pay, depending of course on the amount, because you're not gonna be given 4 years to pay $2,000, right? But if let's say 10, 15,000, so I will behind scenes making sure that you are well taken care of, that you are committed to your payments. If there are any issues or changes in your life, you communicate properly with your financial advisor, and then plus all the resources and options. Sometimes the client decides, you know what, I'm gonna take an alternative career because what I thought initially wasn't what I wanted. So I'm gonna move back. So I'll give the client again and say, reassess what are the tools. So that would be the services that we provide. And we're very passionate about, we do it in Alberta.
Yeah, we can see. We can definitely see the passion. And with career loans, you get the guidance, you get the money, and you get Claudia after you. So better not be late. There's another question from one of our attendees here. The name is Inimphon Audio Talk. I don't know how, if I'm speaking it right. Correct me if I'm wrong. I'm sure I'm wrong in pronouncing the name, but he has put up a question here. I think it goes to both of you, whoever wishes to answer. What is the place of project management in science? Does earning a project management certification increase the chances of a scientist being hired? Should I repeat the question? I'll repeat the question. What is the place of project management in science? Does earning a project management certification increase the chances of a scientist being hired? This question is from our friend who's attending in Imphon. I don't know. You can let me know what is the right pronunciation. In Imphon?
Yeah, you pronounced it right.
Perfect. I learned it. Okay.
Yeah, I can answer that because every big science project, whether it is at the university or it's any federal institute or a private company, they need a project manager. If you have a scientific background and the project management certification, you are in a better situation. So I've seen lots of people like in science taking the certification because eventually, once you're a scientist, after a few years, you are managing a project or you are managing many projects. But mostly scientists, I will say, in the university, or mostly scientists in agriculture, Canada, they're all project managers. So you need that kind of certification, but to get the entry-level position, I'm not sure I can answer that, but I've seen lots of people in science taking this kind of certification, and they are moving up. To me, this is not good for an entry-level position, but if you want to move up to go into a bigger position, go into a management position, this certification always helps.
Yeah. Along the lines of what Tajinder said, I totally agree. And on top of that, I would say that it's transferable to any other career, and that definitely it gives you a better level, an age, as we say. If it's more like an entry-level position, there is a project management. What is the certification as a project management assistant? That's kind of like a coordinator role that you can take, and then from there you can take your PMP, whichever area, if it's in science, or I have lots of engineers in my experience through career laws that are doing PMP, from construction engineer, from civil engineer, and they do the PMP to move up the ladder in a particular area. Yeah, absolutely helps. And that's what career loans can help you too. Yeah.
So, anything else, Claudia, you would like to add on in terms of any other services that can help our participants that you provide through career loans? Anything if I'm not missing out?
We on the website, I had a presentation, but I guess it's better just informally to say that I invite everyone really to have your ears and eyes open, because there are tons of great information, webinars that we are conducting on our website. We have guest speakers as well. We touch topics about on our blogs as well, of, from finances to alternative careers, to health careers, to engineer careers, and all of that will help you to equip yourself. But one thing that is very, very important is also to take command of your finances and understand where and how to go about taking a training, or if should I go for a master's degree. I have many clients with master's degree from their countries of origin, and Claudia, I want to do a master's degree. I say, why a master's degree again? Oh, well, because it's a Canadian master's degree. No, I wouldn't suggest to do master's degree right away. It's a huge commitment and it's way too expensive. Might as well, like I said, do your homework, talk to people in the industry, see what type of certifications or programs are more look after at this moment, see how the market looks like, and then you decide what to do with the next step. But don't jump into taking another master's degree, because education is important, yes, but it's not absolutely number one. If you have the experience and you have the tools and you have great communication skills, analytical skills, interpersonal skills, understanding of the culture where you are, employers will like you. I bet you. But it's up to you again to prepare yourself along all those lines, and career loans can support you with that as well with our service providers that we work hand in hand in helping you to prepare in all the job search aspects, how to go about interview skills. And interview skills are all transferable. And when you do an information session with an expert, if you want to meet a mentor or you want to have a mentor in your life, you need to understand what are the pros of preparing yourself in an interview stage. When you meet a recruiter as well, just to touch base and see what type of skill set you're lacking of. When you touch base with somebody through LinkedIn, right?
LinkedIn is, yeah. LinkedIn, I've always spoken to all the people who visit us, our clients who are seeking jobs. I've always stated to update their LinkedIn, get their network right, even suggested them to request people from their industry to help them with the job shadow and volunteering opportunities. And I've seen most of the recruiters these days are doing the recruitments from LinkedIn. So it's very important to update your LinkedIn profile as well, and get into the right network. That's a good way. Any questions from our guest speakers right now? We have last couple of minutes, but it's good. We have been able to finish it off well in time. If you have any questions, just email it to me and I can forward your questions and queries to Dr. Tejender and Claudia in the coming times, and I can get back to you. But for right now, I think we are done, and it was a wonderful, wonderful session. Thank you, Dr. Tejender. Thank you, Claudia. Both of you were very amazing, and I mean, a lot of knowledge and gems of knowledge we picked out from your conversations today. I hope we can meet you in person very soon, arrange some kind of session with you at our office, but we'll keep in touch with you. And once again, thanks on behalf of Truly Alive Youth and Family Foundation and Career Loans. And you can see for this particular session video, the link on our website, and I'll share it with Claudia and Mr. Tejender as well. Thank you. And let's give a huge round of applause to all our attendees and our guest speakers. Thank you so much. Thank you so much.
And it's a pleasure meeting everyone. And thank you for your expertise, Tajinder. And thank you, participants. And keep your hopes up, work hard. You will get there. You just have to have faith in yourself and work hard. That's what is important. And thank you so much, Nidhi, for making us part of this presentation.
All the best, everyone. Take care.
Thank you so much, and have a wonderful, wonderful day.